This is ION Hong Kong with Key.
And this is Harminder, and we'll be discussing the top news for the week involving Hong Kong and China. And welcome to ION Hong Kong, and this is our 30th episode. Congratulations, Key.
Congratulations, Harminder.
All right, so a light week because we had the Christmas holidays, but news nonetheless. We'll also do a little bit of a year-in review and see how that goes.
Right.
Well, I guess, where do you want to start off?
Well, I think this week the funniest part would be the Christmas singing on the street, right?
Lots of Christmas caroling, yeah.
So let us have our first video and
Our first video clip.
and now what you can see is that on the ferry from the Central to Tsim Sha Tsui and the Star Ferry, and with Denise Ho, Anthony Wong.
HK pop stars. And this was like one of 3 stops they made that day.
Right.
Christmas caroling.
And they're singing the umbrella song to support the umbrella movement and revolution.
I'm surprised a cop didn't come out with a flag saying this is an illegal gathering, you might be prosecuted.
Quite a lot of people there too.
Well, yeah, well, they are, at the end of the day, they're still singers, they got fans, they enjoy the music. So, no, this is great. This is great stuff that they did. It's one, to bring in people with the festive mood, and the other is, you're still making a political point. Now, they started something called Hong Kong Shield.
Hong Kong Shield?
Yeah, where they're going as celebrities, I think.
Yes, and some people from the cultural field.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So they're going to be more politically active as a unit. So, that's good, because what happens in a lot of countries is that they're afraid to speak out. And I'm glad that here they're not, because what happens when they speak out in other countries is they get blacklisted. Suddenly you don't find them in any roles. I mean, that's what's sort of happening because they've got blacklisted in the mainland.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if you don't stand up for what you believe in, then you will be making movies because of some guy in a propaganda office saying, this is the movie I want you to make. Then what do you do?
True.
Right.
And they call it music streaming on the Christmas day, and they started it from Hong Kong CU, and then they have a music concert there, and then they go around Hong Kong. They go to MOT, Causeway Bay, and Tsim Sha Tsui, and then also some. You can also find some video clips that they're singing in the subway station of Causeway Bay as well, and it seems that the people quite like them. Yeah.
And no flag, though, right?
No flag.
From the police.
But from Denise Ho Facebook, she told us that when she was doing this on that day, and actually some police following them as well. Even she went to the toilet, then the police still, following her.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, really? What's Denise Ho going to do? Start a revolution with caroling?
Maybe because of her popularity, because she's quite popular in Hong Kong.
Sure.
And
I mean, if they're there for her safety, that's different. But you don't need to follow her to the bathroom.
You never know what she's doing in the bathroom.
Okay. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that.
Yeah. And of course, apart from that, quite a lot of people also doing Christmas singing on the street in Mong Kok.
Especially Mong Kok.
So, also in Tsim Sha Tsui,
Right.
And Times Square,
Right.
And police. How did the police react?
See, there the banners were unfurled saying,
Right.
this is an illegal gathering, you may be prosecuted. But this is the first time, I think, in Hong Kong history where you could go to jail for Christmas caroling. I mean, yeah, I'm sick of it too. I'm sick of hearing it too, but not to the point where I want to see people thrown in jail.
People should be arrested.
Yeah,
for
enough
that.
already.
For the same song.
For the same songs over and over again. But no, I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah. So let's see the second clip of the video now.
I think that's the second clip is going to show.
Now we have the clip
with our beloved Chief of Police Andy Jung. There we go.
聖誕節我不歸家，約埋班 friend 去救啊！救護團日日成團，晚晚成行，前晚百幾人彌敦賽街周圍彈。
即係可以冇喺度挑人啊！我喺度行唔使你批准啊，阿 Sir。咁你憑咩俾我幾多度唔俾我行咧？馬路嚟噶嘛，你唔係馬嚟噶嘛？上馬人路啊！
咁馬路咪唔行得車咯，啲車都唔係馬嚟噶嘛。
似霧夜，風路夜，車往期到阿蛇。
我行啊揾緊我老婆，你又唔俾？啊，我落山嚟嘅，搞掂唔理你啦，都係出去
炒11點救護群通賽謝。上禪州要登記 ID， 搞到粗聲圖阿姐。我要揸冇蛇！我要揸冇蛇！我要揸冇蛇！衝得又推多幾嘢。搶飯㗎要搶飯！搶飯頭呢個！搶啊！唔好搶飯喎，陣講幾次啦！你阿叔啊！團友一直被困到凌晨，有班人話人有三急，走咗入棟唐樓借廁所，搞到有居民報警。最後警察上樓拉咗20男10女，以涉嫌刑事毀壞帶返警署扣查咯。到凌晨2點，有人踢垃圾桶出街，警察拉咗一個男人，查咗10幾人身份證。聖誕夜一共拉咗37個旺角鳩污嘅市民，年紀最輕得13歲咋。而另一批近100個市民去到旺角警署大叫釋放4眼哥哥，邊位咪鄭生咯。佢25號凌晨喺旺角又俾警察拉咗啦。尋日喺屯門法院提堂，被控阻差辦公。控方話佢當晚喺亞皆老街多次無視警告衝出馬路。之前旺角清場，鄭生已經被控咗執大利做嘢。擔保期間佢唔再去旺角指定範圍㗎啦。辯方話佢去旺角轉車係上水啫，唔係逗留。裁判官認為鄭生違反擔保條件，要還押候審，成為第一個鳩污坐監嘅人。案件押後到下個月14號再審啊。
So
Now,
as you can see from that clip, I mean, it started off with Christmas caroling.
yeah.
People were saying, "I want milk, mother, I want milk,"
Yeah, Mother, I want
because
milk.
Andy Jung came out and said, the chief of police, he said that the police are like mother, taking care of their kids.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. That's their job. No, government is not mother. Neither are any
Sure.
of their departments or the security, anything. Government is is absolutely a necessary evil. It's not a good thing, as much as the propaganda they spin.
I wouldn't say that they are evil, but they should know that we are not a family, and they are not mother. And don't use this kind of a traditional Chinese thinking of a mother and son kind of relationship
Yeah,
to
motherland.
govern. To govern the city. You guys are public servants.
Yes,
you serve
exactly.
the
You
people.
serve us. It's the
Yeah.
other way around,
Exactly.
actually.
And it's completely against the ideology of being a citizen or the citizenship city, because you guys are not the mother, you are not the parents. This city is owned by the citizens.
Right, but they're trying to spin. This is all mainland propaganda.
Yeah.
If you dig down deep, this is the kind of stuff that they want to ingrain now into our brains. That government is somehow a parent. We're its children. Well, no. When I say it's a necessary evil, I'm not. That's not rhetoric. It's true. Over time, all governments become evil, right? But the thing is, it's up to the citizenry to keep it on the shortest leash possible,
Right.
From getting too corrupt. And that's what the ICAC is there, and that's why Raphael Hui is going to be spending 7 years in a cold cell,
Right.
all right, for taking bribes from Thomas Kwok, all right? So this is clearly a propaganda war now. I told you, 90% of all wars are information wars. This is how you do it. You change language, you insert words. Next thing you know, we're going to have a law saying provoking quarrels and picking fights or whatever that stupid mainland law is for arresting anybody.
Oh yeah.
Okay. This is an official propaganda information war, and that's where we need to fight it, and everybody else needs to fight it first.
Yes.
People are too busy wanting to physically get into a confrontation with the police. I think that's wrong. Do not. What are you gonna? What, you bash some police's brains out, and what's that gonna do for you? Nothing. Who, the guy is just following orders. I know that's not exactly an excuse,
Right.
but at the same time, you're not going to gain anything by doing it.
Very true. I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah. And from that clip, we also know that the youngest person who got arrested for this Christmas singing in Mongkok, he was only like 13. So it seems that police are really going after even the young kids.
They want to scare
nowadays.
the hell out of them.
And apart from that, in Admiralty, and there is a girl who also got arrested.
For
yes, for what?
drawing, pro-democracy stuff in chalk. In chalk.
what,
Removable by water.
yeah.
What do you arrest him for? Vandalism by chalk?
Criminal damage.
Criminal,
by
how do you
chalk.
damage with chalk? You splash some water, it's gone.
Yeah, it's quite. Sometimes I people ask, oh, if you have done something wrong, then you should be face the law, face the sentence or something, or maybe you'll be arrested. But at the same time, when you look at the police behavior, it's quite outrageous because they use. I think there were around 14 police officers and surrounded this girl.
Yeah.
And then she was detained for longer than 17 hours.
Yes.
And it's completely unnecessary. And just 1 week before, do you remember the Civic Party banner also got damaged by someone, and then the police refused to take on the case because they say that it's just some dirt on the banner, so it's trivial, so they wouldn't take it on. Then when you compare these two incidents in the same week, then you will see that, why are you using your power selectively?
Selective enforcement.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I understand that completely. And see, you're not going to intimidate anybody.
Just find you so childish.
Exactly. People are making fun of you online. People are exposing everybody that does that. A person confronted him, be like, "What law are you arresting her under?" The cop was like, "Hong Kong law." He's like, "Which Hong Kong law?" He's like, "I don't have to talk to you." Yes, you do.
You do. You have to
Yeah.
tell the person who got arrested what charge you are arresting that person, right?
Or actually, it was somebody else there that was asking the question. The guy's like, "You know what? I'm taking down your badge number." I mean, it means nothing now. I don't think the complaint system really goes anywhere unless it's blatantly obvious,
True.
right? Like Ken Jeong's case. Everything else these days is just like, oh, they were just doing their job. Oh, heat of the moment. He just happened to bash his brains out. It happens. You get angry, right? So you just feel like kicking someone's ass. I mean, really, the police are being given this training now that somehow that if you don't go what's now pretty much going at the thinnest line between unlawfulness and lawfulness, that's where they're reaching. That if we don't reach that at that level, that things are just going to go out of control. Not really. If anything, it's the police that escalated everything since they released their first round of tear gas.
Wow.
So they have to reflect on themselves, not us.
Very true.
Yeah. Siwa Leung this week was headed to Beijing to meet President Xi Jinping and Premier Li Keqiang, and I found it interesting that he goes during Christmas. I thought that was time you spend with your family, unless that's your new family.
Maybe his daughter too busy doing modeling these days.
I'm not going to get into that because, you know what, I don't want to touch that.
Fine.
Because she has her free speech, we have ours.
Totally agree.
She's not politically involved, so I don't want to get involved with that. But I will go after her dad, though. Siwa Leung's over there, and it's the same garbage over and over again. Fully support the administration, law and order, political reform under the MPCSC decision, plus the basic law, yada, yada, yada. I mean, it's the same stuff over and over again. we'll give you economic help. You know what? I was thinking about this one day. I'm like, they keep
What?
saying they're giving us economic help. Okay, we're gonna somehow give you more economic help, like the
Hong Kong, Shanghai.
Hong Kong Shanghai Stock Connect. Okay.
Mm.
But really, is it us that needs it, or is it them that needs this open door for financing, loans, cheap goods? The grassroots level, it starts at the parallel trading all the way up to money laundering, and it happens in the city. Come on, I'm not going to name names unless I have hard evidence, but it's an open secret in the city. Okay,
Right.
it's a base for that. And that's what it's really needed for. And when they want to test new ways of opening up their markets, they do it here first, sort of thing. Okay, but the problem is when you control markets that much, the market does unforeseeable things, and then you have what's happening right now in China: weak real estate, slow GDP growth, factory output very low, all this stuff, because the economy is stronger than any government policy. Unless you have total control, like North Korea.
Of course, people keep saying that, telling us that about the Hong Kong Shanghai Stock Exchange actually benefits Shanghai more than Hong Kong, and it seems that quite funny when CY Leung talk about that to Xi Jinping, saying that it's very popular in Hong Kong, that Hong Kong and Shanghai exchange, but it's not, because
it's not at all, because first of all, it's kind of risky to put your money into companies over there where they fudge numbers left and right all day long. I mean, Walmart, such a huge company, got caught from a Reuters expose where they were fudging numbers, trying to make their sales look better than they were. A lot of Western companies that came in are now pulling out because, one, they can't deal with the bureaucracy, they can't deal with the corruption. There's so many regulations, it's ridiculous. They don't know, they can't make heads or tails of it. They're just selling off their businesses. It's not the golden goose as much as people thought it was going to be. It's a great export market, but as a domestic market, not so much.
It's also quite difficult for other foreign companies to get into China market, because it's quite they're trying to protect their own business as well. Like
protectionism.
It's like Xiaomi quite popular in China,
the phones.
and they copy everything from iPhone, right?
Intellectual property? What does that mean?
It's quite. I mean, when you look at their press conference, it's 100% look like
the presentation
Apple.
was.
Even the tone, the presentation skills, and the slide, everything is just like Apple.
Well, it's not known for the world's copying of everything central, like it. It's not. It is known for that, right? It's not called that for no reason. I mean, they'll copy Ferraris, for goodness' sake.
But at the same time, quite a lot of new companies trying to get into the market, like Facebook. And after Google pulled out last year,
Mark Zuckerberg, who calls his users dumb effers, yes.
Wow.
He did. He called his users, look at these dumb effers, trusting me with their information.
Right.
We still use it. I mean, it's a good platform to use, right? To get the word out. But the moment they start charging, I don't want to use you. I'll use Twitter. And that's been copied.
Yeah,
Weibo.
Twitter have a new office in Hong Kong.
Okay, great, but they can't get in. Weibo controls it. The mainland market. They copied Twitter and made their own version.
Yeah, they have Weibo.
Weibo, yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. So, I mean, also this week, President Xi was in Macau. He was in Macau, and what was he doing? Let's see. He was there, and you couldn't bring an umbrella.
Of the
yes.
Macau.
No, I know he's there for the anniversary, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, what couldn't you do? You couldn't bring an umbrella. The press got their umbrellas confiscated. And then he was just saying that Macau is the model for one country, two systems. Okay. One, Macau cannot ever elect their own leader, even through fake universal suffrage. It will always be through this small circle of cronies that are going to elect the chief executive in Macau. Okay, 400 people for now. Then their legislature is also stacked in favor because it's handpicked mostly. There's a small percentage that's elected, and it's always pro-democracy people usually. Then they had a unprecedented protest against, lavish exit packages for government officials, including the chief executive, and they got voted down, and immunity from office and stuff like that. 20,000 people came out. Now that might be small, but for I was about to say colony, but for a special administrative region of only 600,000 people, that's pretty big.
Right.
Then they tried to do their own referendum and got shut down by some archaic law, and some law that didn't connect what was actually the situation, and they shut down all of the referendums. That they were doing their own on the side for the chief executive. So you can't tell me rumblings aren't happening there as well.
And it's also one thing about Macau is that they have already passed the Article 23 there.
Yes.
And it's not going to happen in Hong Kong.
No.
And
but Chen Zhao this week, pretty much scolded Hong Kong that we didn't have Article 23, and Chen Zhao is the former director of the State Council of Hong Kong Macau Affairs. And he said that, look, your little brother, Macau, implemented it, and and we haven't done the same thing so far. We're the only place in China without this legislation.
Yep. Because we have one country, two systems.
No. You see, now in the reinterpretation of one country, two systems, it's whatever's being dictated to us. We just listen to the one country, and then we just call it two systems. We keep you know what's starting to happen? The political system is starting to be one country. The economic system stays two systems because they need this opening for foreign capital, to go in and out. And the only thing they keep talking about day and night is finance.
Money.
No. That only the financial industry is the heart of this city. It's only 10%, I think, of the economy. So they need the finance industry to finance their stuff over across the border. Yeah, exactly. So it's all nonsense. We don't want Article 23 because we know what it means.
Talking about Macau, then don't you know that when Macau returned to China, all the citizens in Macau, they were granted this EU passport?
Yeah, the Portuguese.
Yeah, but we in Hong Kong, we don't have the UK passport.
Yes, you do. It's called the BNO.
Yeah, but we don't have the red boat. But at the same time, the Macau people, they have the red boat in Portuguese.
At this point, I think Portugal needs the people because they're kind of bankrupt. Anyways, that's a whole different side issue. Now, you wanted to do a top 5 kind of thing for the year to end off the year. So we do have that clip. What number is that?
Yeah, let's have our clip, and that would be
一個咁簡單1分鐘嘅決定，我唔希望大家再浪費時間。
You will be reminded of this incident when they passed the bill for the money to do this northeast development. And
have people gotten up from their chairs?
Yes.
Because these days you vote when you're out of your chair.
我再一次講，係議會裏邊有31條俾主席作出一個決定，係建議提供1至10分鐘。如果1分鐘係通過，就1分鐘、2分鐘通過。
I mean, I can't believe that. He just changes the rules on the fly.
我認為係之前已經同樣嘅建議咧，已經係處理過，所以我係酌量處理依家咁嘅安排。大家留意。
My goodness.
好，而家請各位。
So he changes the voting time to 1 minute, and he's changing rules on the fly.
Yeah, and he's trying to vote now, and the pandemic,
are getting up from the chairs.
And then they're trying to, because when they're not in the city, they cannot vote.
Right. That's part of the rules. This was a cluster. I mean, this was like... I said Legico's become a 3-ring circus, and it's not really all the pandemic's fault that are doing that. I mean, look at them changing the rules. This was an unpopular legislation. Clearly, its land just for more private development that's unnecessary at the moment. Leung is always talking about wanting to increase land supply, but that's not the problem. The problem is not the land supply or the lack of flats. The problem is the low interest rate environment that fuels speculation and keeps the prices high and the rents high.
The reason why I picked this clip is that I think it's one of the most important incident in the Legislative Council this year because
it's extremely egregious.
Yeah, because it's so outrageously unfair.
I remember the next day I was so mad.
Me too.
I was so angry the next day of the
Now
conduct.
you see all these pandemic Democrats, they all went out to the bench.
And he's like, vote now, vote now.
Yeah.
It's like an auction. Oh,
Yeah.
I can't believe that incident. Anyways.
And of course, when you look at at that time, if you look at the mainstream media, then all the scene that you will see from the TV is that the Panza they're quite rude and they're shouting, they're going out of their seats.
They have a reason to be.
Yeah, they have a reason,
Exactly.
but they only showing that them throwing things. They have a reason to do that. I would say.
Yes.
At least this time.
Yes.
And. I would like to remind everyone that this incident in this year because people very forgetful.
But
and it shows how unfair our system is.
What's the next clip? God,
Yeah.
I hate that Napoleon. What's the next clip that we have?
Let's see what we have.
You don't remember?
I don't quite remember.
I have it.
Hey, 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 hey,
And
hey.
this one is the decision by the NPC.
August
And,
31st.
On the 31st of August, they
It's like
announced
Hong
that.
Kong's 9/11 in a way, isn't it? It's like when everything just changed.
Oh right,
You
that's
know?
the turning point.
Yeah, turning point of our history.
Yeah.
You know, not as a terrorist attack. Sorry, no, that's not the point I was making. I mean, where just everything just changed. Where reality set in a different way that everything is not what we thought it was.
Yeah, and because of the decision, and that's why we have a lot of happenings in August, in October, and
September and October.
Yeah, it's quite influential, I would say.
No, the decision was a death nail into, any sort of genuine election in Hong Kong. I mean, it's completely ridiculous.
Yeah, and then because of the decision, and then we have our very important incident this year.
Yeah.
And let's see our clip.
So it kicked off with this. We were there the night before.
Right.
Remember, we were recording our show there, and I did not expect this to happen the next day.
Yeah. Then it was a civic party. Students started everything from there.
Yeah.
And they occupied Civic Square.
And unfortunately, it's all about these kids are idealistic and this, that, and the other thing. They're not pragmatic. If we don't fight for what we believe in, we are not going to get what we want.
Right.
If we just sit there and take it, we're going to be screwed at all times. Oh, man. And then it goes on and on from there.
And then the next day, 27th September.
See why I stepped down.
And you will still see that a lot of people occupy the government headquarters at that time.
Yeah.
And
I mean, this was unprecedented stuff that we saw that day.
and more riot police.
More riot police. I mean, they look like Darth Vader from Star Wars.
And that's why we call it umbrella movement, because
Yes.
people using the umbrella to fend off the police.
I mean, how dare the citizens use the umbrella to fend off pepper spray? And then boom.
That's the moment.
That's the big moment in that tear gas hadn't been used on Hong Kong citizens since 1967. from the Star Ferry riots, and it just changed everything. And then we have, you know, stormtroopers coming by and just.
Yeah. So.
Anyways, not good, but also some good stuff did come out of that. Anyways, we'll be back in the second half with our special guest, Alan Leung from the Civic Party, and we'll discuss all this with him and a lot more.